So we're out here in a courtyard of a restaurant, one of Joe's friends. This is Baby Joe. He's a very good friend of mine. He's my mentor. He doesn't even know it. So Joe, the reason why I asked for your time today is just to talk about a series that I've started called AMATYMA series. AMATYMA is a slogan, Kasi slogan for fathers. You know, I'm pushing this whole responsible fatherhood movement where I talk to different fathers, married, single, and divorced, gay, straight, doesn't matter. A father is a father, and for me, a father is not biological. It's someone who assumes the role. There are a lot of people out there that are not necessarily biological fathers to kids, but are doing a good job at it, and you're one of them. And I just wanted to have a chat with you and just kind of open up the conversation for someone else who might be in a similar position as you, but scared to kind of do something about it. So you are a father of a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. How old is?
He's 10 now.
He's 10.
10.
Jeez, time flies. Konyo, what's his name? Because I call him another name that I don't want to mention.
You call him Mubi.
I call him Movie.
His name is Chloni. Machodonolo.
Yeah. And you've basically assumed the role of being his second father, because he does have a biological father that stays with you, right?
No, he's got a biological father and he's got a mother.
Yeah.
I mean, they are whole family units.
Yeah.
I'd more call grandfather in a way.
Right.
I mean, his parents are 100% involved in his life.
Yeah. What does he call you, by the way?
Baby Joe.
He calls you Baby Joe.
Yeah.
But what does he regard you as? Does he regard you as a second father or as a grandfather?
I think when he was young, obviously we were very, very close.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still close, but, you know, I think now he sees me as like a bit of a fuckhead. You know, because he's got a real grandfather, which he called Makulu.
Yeah.
So he knows who's what and what's. I think basically I become like a friend.
A friend.
Yeah.
But you're still that father figure outside his father and grandfather. You know, you're part of that extension for him.
Oh yes, no, very much so for now. I mean, yeah, but I mean, you know, with me, he's a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
You'd never talk to his father
The way he talks to you.
like the way he talks to me. You know.
But is it because he's more of a friend to you than he is to his father?
Look, he's got a great father and he's friends with his father.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think, you know, maybe it's my personality can take advantage of me.
Yeah.
But he's not rude or anything like that.
Yeah, he's just being a child.
He's just being a child.
He's 10
like
years.
a normal kid.
And tell me something, Baby Joe. Does he know that you're gay?
You know, we haven't spoken about that subject yet because I think, not that he's too young, I think now kind of 10, going to 11.
Yeah.
I think it's now is the right time. I never broached the issue because we never spoke about it, but I mean recently he said, I'm sure your friend, I won't mention names, is gay. I said, well, maybe he's, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Does he know what gay is? I mean, at 10.
Yeah. The fact that he said that he thinks X is gay, obviously knows what's going on. What gay is. And my response is, doesn't matter who you love, and it doesn't matter, you must always be nice to people.
And be kind, yeah.
And be kind and understanding. So I don't think he has an issue, but I think, you know, look, I don't think I'm going to force this conversation because I don't lead. I lead my life how I lead my life.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
For example, I don't bring people home.
Yeah. So he's never met
for him to say who's this or who's that.
Or make an opinion of it.
Or make an opinion of it. I mean, you know, but I think he does know. You know, when I used to have my brides, I'm sure that one and that one's gay, isn't he?
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm not sure. You should ask them yourself.
That's actually a good thing. So what I want to know is, how do you think he's navigating through his life as a young boy who now is living with both his parents and this third father who's not only gay but also white? has he ever questioned his kind of family setup?
No, he's very clear who his family is. I mean, you know, on weekends they go visit the grandmother on the father's side, the grandfather from the mother's side. So I don't think we've ever had. It's never been necessary to have that conversation. It's just it's like a metamorphosis. It
It's part of life.
It's part of life.
Yeah.
I don't think he's never asked, and for me he seems happy and comfortable.
And that's what's important.
And, you know, he's been to Cape Town with me, so in his mind he's got white cousins, which are my nephews and nieces.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll say in conversation, I've got a cousin in Cape Town, Aiden and Luca, it's my cousins, you know. But I know he knows that they're not his real cousins, but he calls them cousins.
Yeah, because that's what you want him to grow up.
Yeah, so, you know, when he's been to Cape Town with me, it's kind of part of it. It's just natural.
Yeah.
You know, kids are open-minded. I think it's what you plant into their heads.
Yeah.
What you want them to be is what...
How you raise them.
It's how messed up they can become,
or
not become.
Do you think every child deserves to have a father figure in their lives, irrespective whether that father figure is gay or straight?
No, of course. Yeah. I mean, I read a shocking statistic the other day, and I mean, I was like, wow. Apparently, 70% of, and look, don't quote me, but this is where I read somewhere. 70% of South African kids don't live with their fathers.
Yeah. I read that article as well.
And I was horrified, and maybe it explains what this country is going through at the moment.
Especially with GBV?
You know, with GBV and I mean, and how men treat women.
Yeah.
And I think it plays, I know it plays a major role.
It does.
Because if you don't have, I mean, look, mothers play a huge role. Mothers can be their father figure as well.
Correct.
I mean, so, but I mean, you need a father that will show your kid how to react to women or with women, and hopefully in a positive light.
Yeah.
So in a household, the father is there, supportive, and not beating up women, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
But I mean, the majority of cases, I mean, there are men who get abused, but I think by far the majority of cases are women being abused.
Yeah.
And I think it's very sad. And look, I know a lot of my friends, and look, in the black community, that don't have father figures, or they were raised by their grandmothers.
That's the narrative.
And you know, and it seems it's a huge portion. So I think if you started a program teaching men or their responsibilities, but then so for example, if a kid lives without his father, he's going to grow up to be like that guy.
Who doesn't care.
There's no unit. So I don't know where you started, but it's got to start from somewhere, somehow. I don't know.
That's true.
But I mean, I'm not just saying in South Africa, but I think this is I'm sure all over the world they have this particular problem. But maybe because we live here, we read about it all the time. And I was just watching news or watching the funeral of that a student at Fort Hare. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
what the fuck?
I agree. What the fuck? I mean,
it's inhumane.
And you know what? It's hard to say, but sometimes you think, you know, our constitution is amazing that they say, but sometimes I think about death penalty. Was that, you know, you also get mentally messed up when you start thinking.
True.
When you start thinking, I wish that the death penalty was back for people like that. You know, because that guy, and I don't know what problems he was going through, No
They were
problem.
clearly,
No
yeah,
problem is an
justifies
excuse
it.
or justifies the situation.
I agree.
But maybe he didn't have a father figure. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know him, so I can't comment.
Because I can't speak on his behalf. And I think that's what we're trying to achieve with the AMATYMA series, to kind of bring out the conversation, allow fathers to be able to be vulnerable to themselves. I mean, I know for a fact that I was raised in an era where emotion was not allowed as a man. You're not supposed to show emotion. You can't cry. But I'm teaching my own kids that it's okay to cry. It's okay to show vulnerability, because it just shows that you are human first before anything else. How was your relationship with your father growing up?
Oddly enough, it wasn't strained. It was cordial. I mean, I was going through my issues as a young kid, because I knew I was gay.
Yeah.
You know, I never had gay issues in my head, but because I knew I was, I kind of kept my distance, which was unfair on my part.
Your distance from your father?
Yeah, but I mean, Portuguese people are close.
Yeah.
But emotionally, I have a brother, he was close to my brother, and I had a cousin who stayed with us, and he was very close to my cousin, because my cousin came from Madeira as a youngster. So obviously my father spoke Portuguese with him and things like that. So, look, it was always based on respect, obviously, of my relationship with him. Look, I know you'd do anything for me. I mean, that was obvious.
Yeah.
I respected him, but I wish I had become, in hindsight, a little bit more closer. But we had a good relationship.
And that's what it's about.
And at the end, obviously we did become very close.
Yeah.
So he just passed away, so that's why.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so, but you know, Portuguese people are always together. No, we had a good relationship. I just wish I made more effort myself to open up to him more.
Yeah. And how old were you when he discovered that you were gay?
We never spoke about it.
But he knew.
I don't even know if he knew.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm openly gay, but I don't want to say I don't lead a gay life.
Yeah.
But even my mother, she always asked me, when you're getting married, when you're getting married. Obviously my sisters knew and things like that. But there was never a time to talk about it, because they never asked.
Yeah. And you're not going to say much.
I'm not going to say much.
Yeah.
I mean, if they'd asked,
and you would have been open.
I would have been open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do remember, and this is, now we're off the topic, but I do remember one day going home to my sister's wedding, and I brought my then partner, and we went home, and we put his bags in one room, and I put my bags in another room, and when we got home, my mother put his bags in my room. So I mean, kind of they knew.
Yeah. I don't think it's off topic, because we are raising kids as fathers, and my daughters could come tomorrow and tell me that they're lesbian. So it's not off topic, because I must be able to handle that. I must be able to be open enough to know that anything can happen.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah. I just think, okay, one doesn't need to force a subject down.
Yeah.
There's always a right time. We just never found the time, because there was no need to discuss it. My mother still loved me like she loved me, like all the other 7 children. So, but I think if she had asked, I would have responded. But it was just one of those.
One of those,
you know.
happen, yeah.
And not that I was hiding it.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those. So I think, in hindsight, in a modern day society, I think one should talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in those days, the way we lived was different to today.
There was no social media.
Yeah. So I think in today's world, I think it is important to bring up that topic to your kids at an early age.
Yeah.
But then, you know, it was as I say, there was no social media. There was no
internet.
Internet.
Yeah.
Everyone just partied and did what they did.
And continued their lives.
Yeah.
Sure. What an interesting insight I've learned from you. But before we close, I've got 3 questions to ask you. So what message would you send to a guy out there who's struggling to have kids and they have a desire to be a father? What would you say to someone like that?
Look, there are so many kids that need homes.
Yeah.
I mean, my family, my sister, I got a sister that doesn't have children. She adopted a kid who's now 12, integrated with the family, and I mean, you also hear horror stories about adopted people turning out to be monsters and whatever. But you know, if you want a kid and you can't have a kid, adopt a kid, because they do bring so much joy most of the time to the place.
They do.
But you got to really want to have that kid, not just to show that you got a child, because it comes with. I mean, you got 2 kids. You know that it comes with a lot of effort, and sometimes they disappoint you, and you can't just send them back because they're there. End of story. So I just want to carry on. No, carry on.
Okay, so the second question I wanted to ask you is, if you had to send a message to your late father, a message that you wish you had sent it to him whilst you are still alive, what would it be? If there's anything that you wish you had said.
Okay,
you want to take a call? No, it's fine. It's part of the. Don't stress. Take your call.
What about other children?
No, that's exactly what it is. Take your call. This is not a stringent show where we're like, it must be perfect. People take calls, life.
Just leave my keys at IT corner.
See, he's being a father. That's what this show is about. We're not cutting anyone from taking the calls because this is life. So if there's one thing you wish you had said to your dad whilst you were still alive, or one thing you wish to say to him in his absence, may his soul rest in peace, what would it be?
Look, I mean, as I said earlier on, I'd have liked to have explained to him more about myself. So it wasn't a terrible relationship, don't get it wrong. I wish I could have opened myself more to him about who I really was. And the only thing I hid away from him was obviously my sexuality, but not really hid.
You just didn't speak about it.
And he never asked about it, so it was just never an issue. If it had become an issue, yes, we'd have spoken about it, but we just never spoke about it. But in hindsight, I'd have liked to have been a little bit more open, and said, hey Dad, but he was an old-fashioned Portuguese man. I thought, would it have hurt him if I said it or not? So we wouldn't know how he would have reacted. I don't think he would have reacted negatively. But our relationship was cool. So if you didn't ask, why?
No, I hear you. And the last question before I close off. So you are raising this young smart boy I call him Moby, this 10-year-old. And you've integrated them into your life, and you're quite clear about the fact that he's got his parents, which is wonderful, because it's not like you're not acknowledging their role. 20 years from now, what would you like to say to him if you had to watch this video 20 years later? What message would you want him to stick by or continue with in your absence?
Listen, I mean, he must know he's brought me great joy. I mean, that's a fact. Look, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Going through a bit of a tough time. I might have to move to Cape Town to my family, and he might have to stay here. It's something that I don't really want to happen, but for economic and whatever issues going on in my life right now, that might be the case soon. It would break my heart a little bit, but regardless, I mean, I would still always keep in contact, and I would,
because that bond can never be broken.
So listen, he's given me great joy, and I think he's growing up to be a fine young man. Due to his parents, I mean,
and yourself, don't take that away from.
Yeah, but you know, they spend a lot of time with him. You know, I spend X time with him. It's mainly them.
Yeah.
But I would like, I'm glad that he's of an age that if I had to go tomorrow, that I think he'll always remember me.
Yeah. And your teachings as well.
And so if I do go to Cape Town, obviously I would, if I could, fly him down every December to come to the beach.
Yeah.
Him and his family, if possible. So, but I'm always scared for his well-being.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious that even my family in Cape Town will always ask, how's Claudie?
Yeah.
You know, how's he doing? You know, so no, it's a bond for life, regardless what happens.
Love that.
When you take the responsibility, it's a bond for life. You can't chop it because it doesn't suit you financially, emotionally, or whatever. Because that, I think, is the cruelest thing you can do to a kid. You can say to him, listen, I have to go home because I'm broke.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's phone calls, there's video calls,
the social media.
There's, that contact, no matter what your situation is, can always be there.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Baby Joe himself. It's a bond for life, and for me, that's what I'm gonna take away from this conversation. I've learned so much, and I hope that as you watch this and we navigate through this journey of opening up as fathers, that we realize the impact that a father can have on any child's life, whether it's your own child, a neighbor's child, a child from a colleague, from school, from wherever. Let's be responsible in how we portray ourselves as fathers. Whether you are married, you're single, you're divorced, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. Fatherhood is a privilege that we must all acknowledge. Thank you, Sabo. Thanks, Baby Joe. That was amazing.
And that's another TV program.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I actually enjoyed. You actually got me teary, but anyway. Let's go back. Thank you so much. Yo, what an eye-opening conversation with Baby Joe, you know? We think we know in life until we speak to people who have traveled the path before us. And for me, what's most important is the fact that there's no formula to being a great father. There's no formula. What a wow.